We've all been to the major big box retail stores before, such as your Walmart or your Publix, to grab a few things on the way home. Maybe a sandwich from the deli, or some food for the pet, or maybe those toiletries we've been meaning to get for the last week. And as we go through the aisles, we see a wide variety of products that line the shelves in a nice organized fashion, waiting for us to pick them. We grab what we need and we head back to the front of the store to finally pay. And as we go up there, there's a cashier waiting, smiling at us, greeting us, and asking us how our day has been. We pay and then we leave, and for most people, that's the end of it. They never stop and think how the products get on those aisles. They never stop and think of what that cashier is like from day to day at the store. For many associates, the day can start as early as 4 in the morning before the sun is even thought to crest the horizon. A semi-trailer is backed up to the back of the store where an associate will go in and start pulling boxes and passing them down the line. From here, another associate will open them and move them even further, where a group of associates is waiting to unbox them. They open the box and take everything out, putting it on an individual cart, and then they leave it for a later associate to move to the department. Here, the opening crew actually comes in. It's shortly before the opening of the store, and everybody clocks in, and they take their positions, grabbing the cart that they need and moving it to where they're going to be working that day. Once it's in the department, they begin to unload what they can, but by now the store is opened and customers are coming in to see what they can buy that day. In between being able to unload these products, customers may ask questions that distract them and cause issues for them in their workflow. They do what they can in the hours that they're provided that week by management, which can be as low as 4 hours shift or as much as an 8-hour day. They do what they can before they're made to clock out that day and go home. One constant in the store, however, is the cashier, who will always be up front waiting to ring people up. However, that's not their primary job anymore. In most major retailers, they offer credit cards, and that has become the job of the cashier. They are to solicit credit cards for each store, and each individual cashier has a credit limit that they're supposed to reach that day. And if they don't reach that, then corporate can come down on the store and give them demerits for lack of performance. They do what they can to try to get people to sign up, and oftentimes they do this with incentives such as discounts on their product. They offer the product discounts that corporate will allow that day, and they try to get people to sign up. After the morning people have left, then the evening people come in. And from here, the job isn't necessarily to unload carts or help customers. It's to try to organize for the next day. After the traffic has come through for that day, the store can oftentimes become chaotic and cluttered. So these people will take their time and try to put products back where they're supposed to be. After that, the store closes. All the cashiers ring up their registers to see how much they've actually made during the day. Otis, please. And then the store closes. 59% of Americans 59% of Americans actually work in some form of Otis. Excuse me. 59% of Americans actually work in some form of retail hourly wage job. As much as 79 million Americans do this every year. This doesn't mean necessarily that many people are working on the floor. However, they are associated with the retail sector. All this comes from the Department of Labor and a study that they have done to test it. Many workers are oftentimes young. As much as 70% are below the age of 30, some with even post-secondary degrees. Oftentimes when graduating college, these students can't find work, and so they work here in a job that they are vastly overqualified for. Because of that happening in the past, many have quit that job and they no longer will work there because of the low wages. However, seeing this, a lot of large companies are moving to try to push the minimum wage up. Many retailers like Macy's and Sam's Club have raised their minimum wage to around $12 an hour depending on the state in order to incentivize more workers to come in. All this was done in research with Fox News in order to see where things are going, especially with the lack of retirees coming out nowadays. Many workers are starting to level out in age. This year, it's estimated that 69% of Americans will actually go out and purchase things on Black Friday. With that product, with that amount of product that's needing to be distributed, with that amount of product that's needing to be distributed, many workers are often worried about the amount of workflow that they're going to have to go through while still making these low-wage jobs. All this has been incorporated by CBS into a special that talks about these low wages, in which case we all have to stop and think about the amount of work that we make these workers actually do. That product that you picked up and you decided that you didn't want to actually buy and you put in an aisle that's far away from its original price, some associate's going to have to go and actually pick that up and put it back in its place. We don't realize the amount of work that these people go through. So maybe the next time we're all in a store, we should take a moment just to recognize and compliment the amount of work that these people actually put in, because a lot of it is more than most of us put in most of our normal jobs.